Hey, and welcome to the Reset Podcast. Everything you need to know that your therapist probably never told you. Researched by experts, real-life experiences. This is Reset. Hey there, we're so glad you're here today. Welcome to the Reset Podcast. Today we're going to be continuing to talk about performance anxiety from last week. So pull up a chair, get comfy, and let's jump right in.
The next strategy and tools is actually concentrating on your breathing. Just like with posture, how important it is that we have control of that is concentrating on your breathing when you feel overwhelmed. Think about people having anxiety attacks. Is the first thing we do is take a deep breath and blow it out, right? And so one way we could do that is blow through your nose and blow out through
your nose?
No, sorry. Breathe in through your nose. Oh, that's why you're here.
Keep you in check.
That's right. I was testing you and you passed. And so breathe in through your nose, we tell people, and then breathe out through pierced lips, which means like having a little hole in your lips, right?
And I always count to 4. I don't know why, but I breathe in for 4 and then I breathe out.
Well, I think it's good to make sure you don't do it quickly. If you do it quickly, then you're just going to just exhaust yourself.
You're going to hyperventilate.
100%. And so I think the breathe in, I think that's a great idea. Breathe in for 4, breathe out for 4. Sometimes we tell our athletes breathe in confidence, breathe out anxiety, breathe in confidence, breathe out fear, right? You could do that. You could do it as like a self-talk mechanism, right? Where you could then breathe in whatever you want to and breathe out. Sometimes that works for people.
What I'm understanding here is our bodies play such a huge part in our mind. Because just looking at all of the things like we've even talked about already, the posture, right, and breathing, these are things your body is participating in.
Right. And it's also like another way to put it, they're grounding techniques. And so when you're able to focus on your breathing, but also focus on your posture, you're grounding yourself. You're putting your mind focus on something that you have control over. And I think that's what's so important. When we maximize your oxygen levels, it's going to reduce the stress. Right. And it's just preparing yourself for the performance. Right.
Yes.
I mean, I'm wondering if even, you probably know this, do a lot of actors or actresses do that, any type of breathing exercises.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. There's so many, we call them, and there's so many different methods, but centering yourself where like you hinge at the hips and kind of hang over as like a rag doll and like loosen everything and then slowly, come up with your, you kind of use your core vertebrae at a time, and then a lot of breathing techniques for sure are given.
An easy way, I guess, to even get you going on that would be, a lot of my athletes who have I'm talking about high anxiety when they get to the locker room is sometimes they do like a 5-minute box breathing exercise. You can YouTube it. They walk you through it, do a 5-minute one. Helps out tremendously. I think about some of my clients who just can't go to school. They have like school avoidant disorder. They just don't want to go to school because they're so anxious about something that a 5-minute just, box breathing video that they do to ground themselves, right, as they mentally visualize themselves doing well, throughout the day can be very helpful and can be easy. But here's the thing. I go back to you have control of your breathing. And so we're just trying to teach the brain, if anxiety is about worrying something I have no control over, fearing something that is happening in the future, right, and it's putting me in a headspace of worst case scenario, I need to have tools that I could do on my own without people really recognizing it, that I could focus on and tell myself, no, okay, fix my posture, focus on my breathing, tell myself I am my will statements, right? That is stuff right there you have control over. And that you can't just do it one time. Like this, people tell me like they don't work. Well, keep doing it till it does. Maybe it takes 30 seconds. Maybe it takes 30 minutes. Keep doing it until that emotion goes away.
Well, I think this should actually empower and excite us that we do have control. We actually have these tools that we can use. I don't know. It gets me excited to think, I can work past this anxiety. I can use these tools. I can use these things. It should give you confidence in that. And like I said, empower you to be like, listen, anxiety, not today.
Welcome to the part of the show where we talk about what we can learn from animals.
Yo, listen up. Did you know animals teach us about life? Like how to be a good husband or wife? Or maybe how to be a good parent or friend? Needless to say, lessons that will help us out in the end. So open up your heart and open up your mind to hear about which animal today that we will find.
Okay, Joe. What animal are we learning about today?
So today, technically, it's going to be donkeys, but it really could be a variety of animals, and you'll get it when I start talking about it.
Okay, let's go.
So, as you know, I don't know, about 15 years ago when I was in Africa doing some work, we were helping some farmers out there in West Africa, and they had the old school yoke, right? The wooden device that farmers use to put two animals in there to plow the land, right? And so, as you know, sometimes it could be an ox, sometimes it could be a horse or two horses. In this case, they need two donkeys. And it reminded me because they need two donkeys that are considered to be equally yoked in strength, meaning like they have the same strength, power to plow the land. And the reason why that is when you have, let's say, a donkey that is not as strong as the other one, and you put them together in a yoke, instead of them plowing it in the straight line, working together to accomplish the same goal, what happens is they actually go in circles. And when they go in circles, they can't plow the land. And so when you're
Well, they can. They're just plowing a circle worth.
right, and so they're unequally yoked, so they're
Right.
going in circles and circles. And so then when it happens, then the farmer's gonna find, okay, this donkey is too weak. We got to put another one in there, and so then we get to the same strength. They plow the straight line, accomplish things together, reach the goal. It happens, right? And here's what we can learn from that. This is a lot like relationships. It's a lot like when it comes to marriage. That when you're yoked with a partner that maybe is not as, let's say, together, either emotionally or mentally connecting with you at that same level, that same strength, like putting in the same amount of energy to make this relationship work, what happens is that you go in circles. The same argument is being brought up again. Nothing gets resolved. We're not working towards the same goal together. And like so many of couples who I work with, they come in and I always ask them, have you been to marriage therapy before? And they say, yeah, you're like our fourth or fifth one. And what happens is that you realize talking to them, they're just rehashing old things. They're continuing to go in circles regarding the same problems. If it's communication, if it has to do with sex or has to do something like that, right? That they're continuing going in circles. And so there's a yoke issue. It's unequally yoked. And so I will talk to them about that, which is what areas of life do you feel like that your spouse or your partner is not meeting you head on or equally in strength or engaging in time or when it comes to energy, whatever it may be.
So how do you solve this problem? Kind of like you said, I guess you look at the areas where you're feeling frustrated as a partner.
Yeah, I think that's where you actually recognize it and use that language. I just don't think we're equally yoked in this. I feel like that I'm giving all my effort and energy, let's say, following a budget. And we keep on going over and we keep on not meeting our financial needs. So I need for you to meet me head on, straight on, with the same energy, the same time involved with the budget as I am, to be able for us to meet our goals. So it's having that type of talk.
Yeah.
And sometimes using metaphors of hey, we're equally yoked, we're going circles, is a good way to bring up problem solving. And so a lot of times when I bring this
visual.
Yeah, and a lot of times I bring this up with my clients, my couples, they're able to understand, like I get you're saying here, we're trying too hard in all the wrong ways. And we're going in circles because we're not meeting each other where we need to be at, whether that's with finances or once again, if it's when it comes to time, quality time, or when it comes to even parenting, things like that, that we have to be connected, yoked together with the same energy and same strength going towards that common goal, where that is.
That's awesome. I love that. Thank you, donkeys, ox, and horses.
Thank you all.
And the yoke.
And now back to the show.
Yeah, which I think this is important to end on this one because we love our journaling.
Yes.
We preach this at the Reset Group. This is a lot of our tools and resources we make is for journaling.
Joe Jardine, do you journal?
Oh, every morning you see me. You're my
It's
witness,
true.
right?
It's true.
And a lot of stuff we've been talking about right now is kind of like in person, in time type of like performance anxiety tools. Here's the one that we could do every single day, because part of defeating or overcoming performance anxiety is what can I do every day to get myself primed for performances and things like that, right? And here it is. You have to journal who you are, your performance self. You have to journal every day your mindset. You have to journal every day your goals. You have to journal every day your emotions, what you're feeling, what you're thinking. You have to do that. And that's how you're going to progress forward. And here's like why it's so important to journal, because you have to manage what you want to measure in life. And so if you want to measure your performance, then you journal your performance. If you want to measure your goals, you got to journal your
So not
goals.
just visualize them, write them out.
And let's be clear, we're not talking about typing. I don't want any typing. Is that what they call these days? Is typing? Yeah.
Gen Z. What
I
are
don't
they?
know. Probably every generation after World War II, I guess.
That's true. I was gonna say millennials and Gen Z.
Everyone is that we want to get the old school pen and paper done and taken care of. This is how you build up emotional intelligence. This is how you be able to just take out the trash every day mentally if you need to. And think about this. Specifically, I guess when I grew up, part of my everyday class in elementary school was we took out those compositions and our teacher would write in the blackboard with chalk, right? The question of the day, and we had to write for like 5 minutes. But it's just it was the muscles being worked out that she used for a long time,
Right.
and for a lifetime. And so, and it's just a place for, especially for us to get insight in who we are. So the question is, how do we do that, right? Like, what is a simple way of doing this? And this is where we say this is our bread and butter, where if you spend, we really believe 1% of your day, 14 minutes a day, right, writing down in your journal, right, and writing down things you're thankful for, things you're excited about, things you want to accomplish to your day. And then just write a list of all your I am and I wills regarding performance, if it has to do with tests, if it has to do with sports, if it has to do with business, has to do with your role as a husband or wife or a parent, right? That's when you start writing down. And some people say, well, are those daily affirmations? Sure. Absolutely. I mean, come on, affirmations is a great currency to have in your life, right? But it's also an opportunity to write down, okay, where are things that are hard right now? Where are things that are monopolizing my mind? Write them out. Because if you don't write them out, then you act them out. And acting out is going to be the anxiety. It's going to be the depression you feel. It could be the fact that you don't perform well. So you have to have that, right? But we're just talking about 1% of your day.
Mm-hmm. It's a good outlet.
It's a great outlet. And make it something that you do in the beginning of your day so it primes the rest of your day. I would say, like, make it something that you kind of do as you have your coffee or you just kind of have your breakfast, and just do it and write it out. And by the way, and I talk about this, you don't have to keep it. So let's say you write stuff and you don't want someone to read it, or just tear it up and throw it away afterwards. Move on to the next day. And so just make sure you learn to, you write it out and you just spend that 14 minutes just, okay, write down what I'm thankful for, excited about, what I want to accomplish today, I am and I will statements, trash that I need to take out of my mind, right? Put it down on paper and just set a timer. Like, let's just get down with it. Set the timer for 14 minutes and just start doing that. And at first, it's going to be hard. 14 minutes is going to feel like an hour. And for a lot of my men, they fight me on this. They fight me until then they actually do it. And then about 10 to 14 days later, they start seeing the results of it. And so I was thinking about this. I had a client this week that sent me a voice memo just saying, dude, you're onto something. I fought this. I can't believe I fought this for the past 6 months. I started doing it. And my goodness, I'm feeling so much better. You feel relief. And they're finding out too, there's a ton of research coming out on just journaling in particular. But one thing you got to realize is usually when you journal, you don't feel it right away. But the result of it 2 to 3 hours later is so much better. It's kind of like working out. We work out in the morning time.
Yeah.
We're exhausted, we're tired. I'm like, I can't get up after this. But then 2 to 3 hours later, we get that rush, right? That chemical rush when we feel good and feel strong. It's the same thing when it comes to journaling. And so when you journal out your mindset, you journal out kind of those self-talks, you're basically pinning your mind into practice.
Yes.
And so when the game occurs, the performance occurs, it's going to strengthen your muscle memory. It's going to strengthen who you are. And that'll override the cortisol who's telling you, the anxiety hormone that's telling you what you're not and what you should be afraid of and that kind of stuff.
So what do you tell the client or coaching student who's like, I just don't want to though? Like, what do you tell them?
Well, a lot of people I don't think are motivated for it at first. And so it's a challenge, right? And so convince someone to do anything they don't want to do. But I can tell them is when you don't have motivation, let's replace it with what? Consistency. Let's replace it with responsibility. You want results, and you're not willing to do what it takes to get the results.
Yeah.
And so we know the old cliche, if there's no challenge, there's no change. And so this could be the hardest thing you're going to do, which could just be the simple as doing this writing. But they're usually the hardest things to get the results we want. A lot of people are so consumed in their mind right now, and they're so just anxious in their mind that they don't know what to do with it. And so they get lost, but they're used to that. So that's just kind of who they are in life, right? I want to keep everything in my mind. To get down on paper could be scary. It could be hard. It could be difficult. It could create certain emotions they don't want, crying, sadness, whatever it may be. But that's okay. This is us breaking the ground. You got to look at journaling in some ways like farming.
Yeah.
Where you have to first break the ground before you can plant the seed, right? And so this is you breaking some ground to plant new seeds of hope or new seeds of what you desire in life, right? But this is something I would say is a staple. Like we really make it a non-negotiable with people we work with because we believe in that much. We obviously we've written a few journals about this, few performance mindset journals that helps people walk through it. And for a lot of people, and that's kind of one of the issues too, is they say, I don't know where to start. I need prompts, right? I need something that helps guide me through it. If that's you, then get a journal, get a performance mindset journal. Well, I know like someone like you like more like the artist mindset likes more aesthetics. Yeah, and so you love like, oh, that's so pretty. Cute. Yeah, you like it look pretty, it looks cute. And that is something that can entice you to do it, right? And, that helps out as well. But figure out who you are. Some people are just like, they're such go-getters. So like, that's fine. I'll just keep writing. Why don't you write for 14 minutes and do it my way? We're not really too much of a stickler because anything's better than nothing.
Yes.
And I would say for my clients, especially the first week, they come back, they just say, we did 3 or 4 days. I'm like, that's huge. Like the breadcrumbs matter.
Celebrate the little victories.
And celebrate the decision that you said, I'm going to do it. And I think that's what's huge, right? And so we don't want perfection. We talked about perfection before. We don't want perfection.
Nope.
But what we want to do is we want to encourage the aspect of dedication and decision making towards something that's for lifetime, for long term. And this is, I think, something that's why I feel this last strategy is so important because so much of what we do, think about with anxiety, mental health stuff, with depression, and the aspects of even people who are feeling just downcasted to a point of, they can't even get out of bed, things like that. Journaling is just a great place for us to start. And it's just a great place for us to continue no matter what. We believe in it. We do it every day. Our kids see us do it every day. I think you just bought them some pretty cute journals recently, right, for them to start.
I actually was gifted it, and I can't wait for them to start using it.
Well, and this is important. Like one of our kids can't really write. It looks like her writing is like tagging, right?
It's so good. It looks like tagging.
It looks like tagging. But,
tagging's actually beautiful.
Sometimes journaling can just be artistry. Where you don't need to.
It's called art journaling.
Yeah. So it's like you don't need to necessarily, like for a kid that age, to be like, hey, write down something you want to do today. Draw out.
Draw it. Yeah, for sure. There's so much power in that.
Well, and even our own journals, we put down days where people could write out things or art out, right? They put the art and they could draw and that kind of stuff.
Some people it gives them extreme anxiety, like even our son, when we are, for his writing, he has to draw a picture and that's supposed to be the fun part. And he's like, I can't do that. And then for others, it's like, this is what I live for.
My go-to is stick figures.
Now, these are great tools. I feel that we can implement in all areas of our lives. And like I had said before, empower us and excite us. Hopefully these things don't make you feel guilty or frustrated or like you failed. Take today, look at these tools and say, what can I implement today? What can I do? Talk to myself better. Maybe I can use my body better with my posture and my breathing, or I'm going to start journaling. I'm going to go and I'm going to buy a composition journal, or I'm going to buy a really cute one and I'm going to start journaling today.
Yeah, just choose one. Just choose one thing that you want to start out with. Let's say maybe in many ways, I want to feel even less anxiety. Well, maybe then you add a second one.
Yeah.
Right? For some people, just the journaling is fine. Some people, just the posture clicks in their mind, and that's all they need to do. Start small. It's about the breadcrumbs. We're all about the breadcrumbs in life, right? And so find that one thing and start with it.
You got this. We believe in you.
Thanks
so much for hanging out with us. For more information and other resources, visit us at theresetgroup.com and make sure to follow us at The Reset Group on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.